Welcome to the Refill. I'm your host, Ron Daniel. Listen, we got another great show for you. We're glad you tuned in. Today is a good day. Man, we're glad y'all tuned in to the Refill. You could have been doing anything else tonight, but you came and rocked out with us for a good hour of your day. Listen, well, hopefully this will be the best hour of your day. Listen, we got another great show. If you've been following the Refill, you know what we already about. You know, if you've been rocking with us week after week, every Thursday, every Friday, you already know how we get down. But if it's your first time coming on to the show, this is a Christian hip-hop, holy hip-hop show dedicated, highlighting the artists, the DJs, the promoters, the influencers, the producers that make this genre shake, rattle, and roll globally. And tonight is nothing different. But we got a special guest, though. We're going to talk about the same thing, but we got a special guest, man. Before I introduce him, I'm going to let y'all know, continue to support the page. Continue to like, share, and comment. You know, when you're watching the show, continue to like, share, and comment what we're doing on the show. If you have any suggestions, always look at the bottom of the screen. You'll see all the information there, where you can email us and let us know, you know, if we're doing a good job, if we can do a better job. But we hopefully we're doing the best job we can do with what we have. So tonight, man, listen, we got a great show for y'all tonight. We got what I call one of my Arkansas dogs, and I don't say that lightly. This brother, I've been knowing this brother for a long time in the city, the Rocktown, Little Rock, Arkansas. If y'all been following us, y'all already know where I'm from and how I feel about the city. Number of love for the city, man. I've been here all my life. I move around the city. I tell everybody everywhere I go about the Rocktown I wear. You see it's on my head. It's everywhere. So tonight we got one of my Arkansas dogs here, Ante Thompson. He gonna introduce himself real quick. What's good, bro?
What's good, baby? You already know what it is, man. Ante
Yes, sir.
Yana
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Already.
You are not a band, and you already know what it is. Love, man.
Yes, sir, bro. I'm glad you tuned. I'm glad you jumped on the podcast today, man. One thing I tell everybody, man. You know, one thing I try to feature, not necessarily just, you know, we gonna always feature everything happening gospel rap. I try to showcase my state because I've been around my state corner to corner, inside, outside, through the head, like they say, the hedges and the highways. I've been up and down the great state of Arkansas, in the South, everything in between. So, but bro, I love when the Arkansas artists come on and share, you know, just how we get down here, you know, and how we move around. I also love, man, talking to the multifaceted artists like yourself. I keep my ear to the ground on everything going on. I always know you as the artist, but recently you've been into the whole activism thing. We're gonna get into that too. We're gonna ask you some questions on that. But bro, let's start all the way back in the beginning, bro. Take us all the way back to what got you involved in rap, and then what got you involved specifically with gospel rap.
So as far as the rap goes, you know, it's crazy. We grew up on Tupac, you know,
Right.
Particularly. Then those artists influenced the culture. You know what I'm saying? We are people of rhythm. But my cousin and would rap all the time, and I just love the way they put them bars together, and it was like magic, you know, so to speak. But I never could do it, and just listening to them repetitively. I was like, this is dope. And then trying to put them words together, and then, you know, being told by, you know, some people close to me, you know, oh, you can't rap, you suck, you know, being laughed at for rapping, right? And then from there, just continuing to do it. And then realizing, man, you know, you get good at it. And it became, you know, something that I was good with words with. But those people were always, you know, better than me, you know, from my perspective. They could come up with stuff on the drop of a dime. And I was always the one stuck trying to reflect on my lyrics, and they were shooting them out. Then you had those freestyle sessions where you getting good at freestyle.
Right.
Then next thing you know, I'm just writing. I'm a writer. I'm putting these words together. I want to be careful with these terms, but it is what it is. Writing for the world, or writing for, the place you are in life versus, we say this is secular rap. You writing for the world. No, I was writing from the perspective of what I saw life to be and what I was doing. And then as I started my spiritual journey, submitting to the Lord Jesus Christ, and really learning about, their life, my music had to change. I was at crazy because I was at a big conference and I didn't even know you could rap for God at the time. They were like, somebody rap, somebody do something. I'm like, what? You can rap for God? And I went into the bathroom. I said, I can't do it without cussing. They said, you have to. It was like 3,000 people there. And, they gave us, I went to the bathroom. I came up with like a 16 bar flow and went out there and executed, without cussing or without being derogative. But from that moment on, I'm like, the way that the crowd took to it and the way it felt and just several dynamics surrounding it, it just changed the whole trajectory of what I was going to do with music from that point on.
Right, that's what's up, man. And I love how we all. I always lead off with that question because we all had our start. You know what I'm saying? For me,
Yeah.
I tell everybody, for me it was I didn't I was coming from Memphis. You see what I'm saying? A night of just kicking it, basically. Coming from Memphis, I didn't know the next day the Lord was gonna speak to me. And then when He spoke to me, I stopped rapping. I said, I ain't rapping no more, cause when I was out there playing in the streets, like they say, in the world and all that stuff. Shoot, I was like, I'm finna do my label. Everything I'm doing now, I do my label. I'm a rap. I'm a sign artist. I'm gonna have my own studio, everything. But it's like he said, no, you do this for me. But I didn't know then, so I stopped rapping. I was like, I ain't rapping no more. It ain't
Didn't know
for
you
me.
could rap for God.
No, right, cause I didn't know, hey, bro, I didn't know no gospel rappers. I'm just being for real. I tell people all the time. They said, well, how you started? Did you know about it? I said, man, I didn't know, no, I didn't know a song. I didn't know nothing. I thought, I'm thinking like, okay, it's rap, Joker, so I know what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Everything talking about sell out a dope, you can handle Joker and put all the money up. And so from that, you go from that to like, man, you can rap for the Lord. It was crazy at the time. I was like, nah, I'm done with that. I can't even see that. And so let me ask you this, bro. So now you rapping at the show. What was your thoughts after when the show is over now? So what was your thoughts after? Like, okay, I need to get into this. What was your initial thoughts? What was your next move or your next play after that?
My next play after that, I would have to say it was the youth pastor mine, J.R. Hall. Shout out to him. He put me on,
Right,
Reach Records, Lecrae, and all them.
right,
And I'm like, okay, these people doing this stuff for real. And so my next move, man, was really just to start writing. I just started writing and really just started expressing myself on paper, getting my real thoughts and real feelings out there.
right.
I probably got like, I don't know, like 100 songs that I never released. Never, because I never had a studio. It's crazy. They back there now. I can sell them. I can literally raise up an artist, give him all these lyrics, and he be gone.
Right, right.
But that was my next step, man. Just writing out my heart, writing out my pain, and write out, what I'm saying, just real practical things, concerning, life. When you grew up dysfunctional and you kind of have a vision. So just writing from one perspective to the next.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing. Matter of fact, that's going is segueing into my next question actually, because I know that's one of the things for every artist out there, and for anybody that's watching, any artist that's watching now, they know about the studio time and making sure that as far as getting the funding to sit in them studios all day. That's why I know in the gospel rap space, working in for me, I couldn't work in those studios because I knew the culture. I hung out in studios, so I knew that culture. And I was like, nah, I couldn't do that, so I had to do my own. But you hit on the head, bro. It's getting in those studios and making it work. Let me ask you this, bro. When you put that first project together, walk us through your mindset then, and then how you put it together financially, how you market it, and everything.
It's crazy, right? Because
Right.
not knowing anything about those types of things, you do what you do naturally. Just like the comedians coming up, they just use their authenticity, their personality, and so
Right.
that was really the angle. Sitting on the front porch, and so the first project name was "You Are Not Abandoned,"
Mm-hmm.
and I come up with the name just sitting on the front porch in the South End and in front of an abandoned house. And I was like, man, I wonder, what all happened here. And I was like kind of visualizing sex, rape, drugs,
Right. Right.
alcoholism, whatever. And it just reminded my own life. And so the writing process for that project was really, man, just me being vulnerable, specifically about everything, things I've experienced and things that people around me have experienced and we've shared with one another, or you kind of know because you heard it through the grapevine. And it was like the statistics that we know from not from the internet, but we know from living in this culture,
Right.
living in having our families. And so that's how that project was put together. And you hear the beats. As soon as I hear a beat, I already know what I'm gonna say.
Right. Right. Right.
And then marketing wise, it was just handing out CDs. I was printing out CDs. I was on Facebook, dancing with my nieces and nephews to the songs, and then I was going to certain events, just handing out CDs and on the street corners rapping. It's crazy you say that because my social media presence is okay, but like what I do in the streets and what I've done in the streets, you just completely different. And so the trend that to be on social media, to be in the streets, it's a different thing. And you know that, you
Right.
know, but it's crazy because if you don't market social media wise, especially in today's age, you ain't doing nothing. But work, when you out there in the streets, it's just different. You playing your song, you playing your CDs, you're playing your music, you're giving away 50 to 100 to 500 CDs.
Right.
And that's kind of that was the way that first project was pushed. Primarily was through my word of mouth and giving 10 and 5 CDs to different people to push it.
Right, that's what's up, man. A lot of people don't know about that grind, that style of grinding. Cause we you know what it is, man. We in social media age, everything
Yeah.
streaming, everything download. If you talk to somebody about some CDs, they think you talking about 20 years ago. I'm like, no, we talking about not even 7, maybe
Y'all gonna
7
say about
years ago.
5,
About 5, right? About 5. I had a conversation. I had a conversation with a cat, man, recently. Just not on the podcast, just a conversation. I was telling him, I said, man, CDs, they still sell them in stores for a reason. Somebody buying them. I said, but the CD game didn't start drying up really till like you said about 5-7 years ago when we was out there.
Yeah.
We'd print up. I still got my old duplicator in the other studio up here. We'll print up 100, 200 of them, and just 300, and just boom, just tear the streets up with them. Go from I'm talking about hood to hood, gas station, auto zone, Walmart, church parking lot, wherever, and just give it to them boys, man. So, so cats listen to this, they probably think, oh man, that's old. Nah, that's not old. Cause look at, and I'm gonna say this, I'm working on a project now, bro, and I'm gonna have some physicals. I'm gonna have some physical copies available for the cats who want the physical copies, man. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit them. I'm gonna hit them on both sides, the streaming and the physical. So, yeah, man, a lot of cats don't know about that, bro.
Yeah.
Walk me through this, man. So, what was your response from you going to church and all that? What was your response like from people you going to church with, and then like family members and all that? Now you doing they say, okay, he ain't rapping about this, street politics and everything that's going on in the streets. He rapping about the Lord. Like what was your what did you experience or conversations you had with people that were saying, okay, this is different? Was they for it, or was they like, I ain't with that, like talk about that, bro.
No support. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. No support,
right, right,
from family or friends or anybody, Um, so much so to the point where I don't even remember the conversations.
right,
And it's got to be true. And if I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the comments or through my inbox. But when somebody says something positive, when you go positive, you remember what they said.
right,
Uh,
right,
and so I just don't remember. I don't remember the response.
right,
If,
right, right.
if there was any, So yeah, I don't remember the responses from him. But I will say this: last year I talked to a cousin of mine, maybe it was early 2020, and he was saying that he respect the music, and he respect what I'm saying on the projects, and that's the kind of stuff that he should be, excuse me, that he should or need to be rapping about.
Right.
But for whatever reason, he's not. You know, but for the most part, man, I've written songs about people to people, and they never even. I gave them the project to listen to, and they never gave me a response. So
Right.
that was
Right.
that's how they responded and connected to me personally.
Right. Yeah, man. Been there and done that, bro. Same here, man. Cats that you know that when they find out, oh, he rapping about the Lord, and he going in and he talking about it, and I've given CDs or download links to cats. Cats don't respond, but I tell cats, I said, man, I just keep it going and keep it moving, man, because I know, for me, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and been doing it for a long time. Been in this thing, been in this game. My hands dirty, my feet dirty. Been in it for a long time. Makes this, bro. Let me switch up a little bit, bro. Now I told you at the beginning, man. I follow everything social media, especially on my timeline. I follow everything on my timeline. I try to keep up. If I see something interesting, I'm in it. Activism is one of my things that I keep my ear to the ground, and for one, because I'm black all day long, and I tell people that
Yeah.
I'm what they say, unapologetically black all day
Yeah.
long. I don't care what a joker think. I'm black. I teach my kids to be proud of their blackness. Me and my wife, we both, teach our children that because we are. Let me ask you this, bro. What was it that sparked in you to start getting on being active, getting on that side of just doing that in life? Because I tell people, even though we do a gospel rap podcast, we also highlight, for anybody who looking, we also highlight what the artists that's featured on the show, what they're doing. Because everybody think all we do is rap all day. So now we don't just rap all day. We got other things and other ventures we got going on outside of the
Yeah.
rapping side. Rapping to me is just the temporary stuff.
Yeah. It is.
But
Man.
it's just getting in the studio, make a song, get out, and you hope that thing hot, and you hope people gravitate to it. But what you're doing as an activist, that's something totally different, bro. Talk about how you got involved with being active. I've been checking you out, bro, and I big salute to that, doing that. So talk about that a little bit, bro.
When you think about activism,
Right,
you think about a particular, something to be active in. These
right,
controversial topics, come up, and you stand on an opposing side.
right,
And it's funny because it didn't start with George Floyd when I really reflect on it, or
right,
Ahmaud Arbery. It started with really at these churches I went to, some of them predominantly white congregations,
right,
having those kind of conversations and dialogues with them, and hearing some of the things that were said, and listening to it, and then engaging in some of it. Um, so being involved in this is when I seen like the biasness towards black culture,
right,
which is, to me, is a direct um, disdain to me for black people, right?
right,
And so I just feel like there was something deeper there, beyond the culture, and then to continue to kind of engage these people, and they engage me,
right,
not realizing I'm really perceiving, something's not right here. And so that's where it started at. But then when more specifically with George Floyd, looking at that video and Ahmaud Arbery, and just having these dialogues with these people who, some of them used to um, teach me, about the word of God, and just
Right.
seeing their perspective. And so it started there, man. And it really made me realize that, I don't live in the world I think I live in, but I
Right.
still
Right.
have a biblical world view, or the way I view the world through the Bible, human love, human dignity, human respect. But even, even before getting into all that, my cousin taught me to respect every man. And so for me, it was just I understand what, when you respect somebody versus when you don't respect somebody,
Right.
but to see it from a biblical worldview. And of course, when you get God, to me, Christian people are really passionate, more passionate about things than, the common man. And so that's what made me really get into it, is seeing the reality of the world I live in, and want to see the world a different place and a better place, man.
Right. Right. Right.
That's it. That's
Right.
it. And then since I've been doing the music, I'm in circles that really speak to Black dignity. And then I'm seeing how they speak into it, and I'm like, man, what does the Bible say on this? Or how should I respond to this? And as a
Right.
man, as an artist, as a Black man, I'm going to respond to it. And so that's what everybody's seeing, who I am, and then they're just seeing this activism part of it, and how Ante would maneuver if he was to be an activist, so to be active in this type of thing. Yeah,
Right. Right.
just
Right.
me being myself, really.
And that's real, man. That's real,
Yeah.
because I've had conversations with like I said, with white pastors, youth pastors, about Black issues, quote unquote. And one thing I'm gonna say this before I answer. One thing about this show, for anybody that's listening, we gonna dive into everything on this show, because we love the Lord, we love gospel rap, but there are also real issues out there in the world that affect us all. And we still loving the Lord, we still rapping for Jesus, we still doing those things, we still going in the streets ministering and doing that stuff, but I'm still Black all day long. And so outside of the rapping, I see the biases, I see the prejudice. I have to, I live them. I'm in it. I'm deep in it, just like you. We in it. So I've had those conversations, and I know for me, I'm comfortable with talking about whatever. But I know for my white friends and peers, they not necessarily comfortable speaking about things, or they want to push them under the rug and say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that." Y'all not, the one that, "Oh, y'all not living in slavery no more. You should be happy." And I've had those conversations. I'm like, no, but those things still affect us today. And I still love the Lord and all that good stuff, but those things still affect us today. What you said about Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd, like, that's real. I tell people, I say, I'm a gospel rapper, I love the Lord, but if them blue lights hit behind me, Joker, hey, it's a whole nother ball game. You trying to make sure, Joker, I hope I ain't got no warrants. I know I ain't out here in the streets like that. Joker, let me wear my driver's license. Let me put it up right here on the steering wheel. I teach my kids that. So that's real, man. Let me ask you this, bro. I remember in the city, there was a lot of protests going on, peaceful protests, because a lot of people think, oh, protest is a protest, and now there are peaceful protests. But you have a lot of dejectors that want you to protest the way they want you to protest. I'm like, there's never protests are to make you uncomfortable. they are to make you think, about what's going on. There's never been a comfortable protest. Hey, let's go protest comfortably. Ain't no comfortable protest. So, bro, I see you moving around the city, man. Talk about some of the protests, and I love this. Let me say this. I love this because you a gospel rapper in the midst of protesting. You see what I'm saying? You in the midst of, working in the activism side in this city. Talk about some of the, I guess, the good side, the bad side of some of the protests you was a part of just in this city.
Yeah, so I feel like most of it was good.
Right.
To be honest, it was great. You had different people from different walks of life, and
Right.
so I initially showed up to hurting and pain and just trying to grieve with the community, with the people, right?
Right.
And they're just passing out water and hugging and just being there for another brother. as usual. But and then you get to marching and you really get to, engaging with the activists who've been doing this forever. Then you realize, wait a
Right.
minute, these people been doing this for the longest.
Right.
And so just gleaning from them and learning and engaging. It was beautiful. Of course, you're not going to agree on everything, but I'm always looking for, the positivity, the truth, I see the end goal, whether
Right.
I agree
Right.
with how they're saying things. But then, what's crazy, you hear a lot of nonsense, a lot of negativity. A lot of that stuff came from the younger children that was out there, man.
Right.
Needed something to do. When it get late at night, they start throwing bricks through windows and doing all this crazy stuff. The people that orchestrated these protests had nothing to do with that. And then some people were new at, throwing some of these protests. And so you
Right.
got some of the, it got out of hand at some points, so yeah. And so that to me was just all positive. You had a few, you always gonna have a few, negative incidences and they have to be handled accordingly. But you had a lot of people that was in the protest that was speaking out. We were out there, y'all got to shut this down. Y'all got to cut this out, and so it's funny that they want to highlight just the negativity, whatever they're going to choose to highlight. But there was a lot of positive things amongst it. And I'll say this as well. I've been fighting for the dignity of all people for a
Right.
long time. White folks, I've been fighting for y'all's dignity.
Right.
Y'all's children, when they was children, was talking about committing suicide and all that. It was Ante that showed up. Them the facts. But when you see that, when you start fighting for your dignity, them folks hiding and running and tucking their head and won't make a post. And so yeah, it was mostly, positive. But you did have a few outbursts of what people perceive to be negativity. But like Martin Luther King said, those are just that comes from being neglected, for the most part. So.
Right. 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 And you hit it on the head, bro. I mean, it's one of them things where, what I would hope, especially for anybody that's white watching this, that they really, I think this is just Ron Daniel talking. In 2021, I think with everything's going on, I think for white people, they just need to just get in the room, listen, and be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It don't come with no answers. Don't come with no solutions. Just get in the room. I'm talking about a room full of black folk and just listen, because now we're dealing with the George Floyd case that's going on. I'm like, to me, I know everything got to go to trial. I don't know why this going to trial, but everybody saw what they saw. What's your thoughts on George Floyd, bro? On that whole. I'm gonna say this for you answer. We done seen this story before.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people be shocked. They be like, "Oh man, we thought you gospel rap and you about love, peace, and harmony." I said, "I am."
Hmm.
I said, but Joker, I can walk in some stores, I'm getting followed around. I can walk in the gas station, police sitting in there with his hand on that hammer, looking at me like,
Yeah.
Joker, I'm not finna steal a Mountain Dew, a bag of chips, and get 30 on gas. So, we know. When I saw it, I already knew. And I know but what's your thoughts on it, man?
Man, when it's funny because I was keeping up with this with every detail of the details.
Right,
And I
right,
would go kind of related to some of the white people I went to church with, and they were like, "How
right,
you know this?" They were making up all these excuses, and I was like,
right,
"To hell with y'all." And that's just how I felt. But I'm gonna tell you something. When I saw George Floyd get kneeled down, I didn't sleep for 3 months.
mm,
I lost all my sleep. I was traumatized.
right,
And there was a young lady named Faith who told me, "I don't know why y'all watching this kind of stuff, but it's traumatic." She was right. It was making me become, man, it broke me down to dust. I was like, man, this really happened. And the it's on the internet.
it's on the internet, right?
It's on the internet, man. It took all the life out of me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe it, man. I
Right.
couldn't believe it.
Right.
I stayed up at 3 or 4 o'clock at night watching them folks burn every city they could down. But man, how I feel about it, I don't even have the words to even express it. You
Right.
know, all I
Right.
know is I felt like I turned into dust. It could have been me, you know, it could have been you, it could have been
Right.
any brother, you know. Um, and so I ain't even watching the trial right now. I saw a video on Sean King page. I couldn't watch it. You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
my wife, she gets, you know, she noticed if I see stuff like that, I shut down for 5, 6, 7 days.
Because, bro, I think because we live it. You know what I'm saying? And I think tonight's show, man, every show. What I love about doing this podcast is that we highlight gospel rap everything. You know, I'm in the, you've been knowing me. I'm in the 10 toes down, ten
Oh
toes down,
yeah, yeah,
five hands down, 10 toes down. I'm in it, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
but I tell Cass, I said, man, seeing stuff like what happened with George Floyd. I remember last year when it happened during COVID, everybody just in the house watching. And
Mm-hmm.
bro, I know for me, I know a good 3 days. I'm just hot. I'm just hot about it. Cause like you said, it could have been anybody. It could have been me. It could have been you. It could have been anybody we know personally. It could have been my brother. Could have been your cousin or somebody. You know, and what the thing that again that I hope for me, and I know we talking about this now, but for me, black people, we're gonna continue to protest. We're gonna continue to raise awareness to what's going on. But what I would hope for white people, especially white people watching this show, that y'all listen. It's time for y'all to come to the table, sit down. Everybody else at the table. But everybody white at the table sitting down to listen and to be quiet and stop talking about, stop trying to tell us how we should protest. Stop trying to criminalize somebody like George Floyd and say, oh, well, he resisted. Oh, you know the whole thing. They go into everything, his whole background. Oh, he stole some doggone M&Ms when he was 19 at the gas station. That's why he deserved to die for that. I mean, come on. You know, they need to stop all that and say this man is a man first and foremost. He a black man. You know,
Yeah.
and just to be quiet, listen to black folk, listen to our stories, the plight we went through, and be quiet. You know, and even I'm gonna say that I'm gonna direct this this way. Even in the church side, you have predominantly white churches, predominantly black churches, but a lot of predominantly white churches, you know, they still feel that same where they want, you know, black people just be quiet, be thankful, be grateful, don't protest, cause it's really making us uncomfortable. Cause we didn't do nothing, we ain't doing nothing. I'm like, no, you're a part of it too. You know, if you white, you should have even more of a responsible voice to speak out against it. You know, what Martin Luther King said, I'm gonna paraphrase. He said about the silence of your friends. It's like they part of it too. And I know I'm paraphrasing that. So whoever looking at this, I'm like, he ain't read Martin Luther King. I said, I read it. I just can't think about it right now. But
Yeah.
he said the silence of you. He talking about the silence of your friends. It's like they're complicit to what's going on. And so, bro, let me ask you this, man. Let me switch it up a little bit. Gospel rap 2021, man. What's your thoughts on what you see, what you've been hearing, what you've been seeing? What's your thoughts on it now compared to when you first started?
I will say this. Um, Reading and praying and really trying to search out the scriptures early on, it gave me a good foundation because a lot of those pastors I was listening to, they really couldn't connect with me. I heard them, but I didn't hear them, you know.
Right.
And so I really enjoyed what they were doing. And I think it's just like technology. As technology progresses, you know, it has its, you know, pros and cons to it. I would say
Right.
that. And I think just like a lot of pastors, to me specifically, And there's a lot of Christians, period. I'm not trying to be critical here, but I don't think we speak to situations well.
Right.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
I don't think we're as detailed and as inclusive as we could be. We're so used to wanting to make a point that we don't make an impact. And I think that's an issue. For example, someone that's close to me right now is transitioning, having a transgender transition, right? I had nothing to say during that conversation but to listen, and just to hear him act, and I still have it is what it is, and so I just think with a lot of things in life, we don't just we don't nuance well, right? And so I think the music has come to a point where, listen, I'm still saved. I'm still a Christian. I still believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, his death, burial, and resurrection. But I ain't going to say more relatable. I'm talking about the same person, but I'm just being more personable, more vulnerable with you, if you will. And if that's not the artist you would like to listen to, that's fine to me.
Right.
But for those artists who are, rapping like Christian rap was 10 years ago, I think that's fine. But I also think they're in a box and they're trying to appeal to a base. And we draw conclusions about those who holler Jesus a lot and are very scriptural, draw conclusions about those who kind of reflect on life, and trying to help people wrestle through things.
Right.
That kind of draw conclusions about one another, but these two mediums are here. I mean, these two styles are here, and I think they should be embraced and accepted. But at the same time, it's crazy because you have people who creep in on both sides, right?
Right.
And I think they're trying to say, oh, because you're not rapping Jesus, you ain't saved. And they take the people who are rapping it and say, no, so the people who are rapping Jesus say the people who aren't as detailed about Christ as they was in the beginning, they're not saved. And they draw these conclusions about each other when neither one of y'all might not be saved. And so I just think I think it comes down to bragging rights sometimes to me, man. And I feel like the people who are out here, just going through life and being realistic with themselves and they really love the Lord, I just think there's room for both of them, and just be mindful of, who you let your children, listen to, or whoever. Be mindful of what you listen to and why. But be careful about drawing conclusions about people because you could be completely wrong.
Right. Now, you hit on something right there because I tell people all the time, one thing I learned about the ministry side of gospel rap, and I tell people it's not a lot of people that really hit on that. The ministry side. One thing I learned about it is I try not to play God. I give the hey, here go what it is. Take it how you want to take it. I'm not God. You see what I'm saying? And there's a scripture that I'm thinking about now. When Jesus was on the cross, and he was sitting up there, and folks are like, "Hey, give us Barabbas. We don't want Jesus." They like, "What, Joko? Why you?" They like, "Joko, why you trying to kill Jesus? This man ain't did nothing to y'all, man. No, man, give us Barabbas." So Jesus up there on the cross, and he up there with two other folks, and so Jesus' work was so. I tell people all the time, I said Jesus wasn't no sandal wearing, donkey riding, walking around, peace holding person. I said if you dig into him, they say his fame was throughout everywhere. So everybody, it's just like how we know folks now that's real famous and big. Oh, I'm just gonna name whoever, just Barack Obama and whoever else. Jesus was the same way, the same way. So when them boys was up there and they knew they were finna die beside him, Jesus was like, he forgave dude of his sins right there on the spot. That's why I tell people all the time, I said, when I read that scripture, I said, okay, I just got to do my part, you do your part, and let God be God. Because He controls everything in the end. And I tell people, I say, yeah, it's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of messaging going on. It's a lot of things I have to tell my kids to watch out for. Hey, watch out for this. Watch out for that. Be careful for this. Be careful for that. Now I got 2 daughters, so I'm giving them game about how these boys are, shoot, how the girls are, everything. So I'm like,
I
just
know how
giving
you
them.
are.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I'm giving them the game. I'm like, hey, this what it is. This how it is out here in this world. But I always make sure that they centered around God and the Lord, and always
Yes.
He is they go to. I tell them, I say, look, I can't. Me and your mama can't save. We can't walk for you.
Absolutely.
Right now we your parents, but when you get out in this
Hmm.
world, you have to decide on your own. And so,
You
but I
got to know
hope,
how to navigate this thing.
yes, sir, and that's what I'm leading
Yeah.
to. Like you gotta know how to maneuver. You gotta know how to
Yeah.
navigate. And bro, I didn't sat in rooms. I done heard both sides of it. And the conclusion I come down to, I said, look, I ain't God. I said, and I try not to play God. I'm gonna give you that gospel. You cut that speaker up, Joker, we gonna go ham and we're gonna go
Sure
home.
is.
And we're gonna go
Yeah.
home. And when it's over, God gonna do whatever that music was supposed to do at that time. You see what I'm saying? And I'm still gonna call you up, play dominoes, play Madden, whoop you on the. I'm gonna say, give me the sticks, play Madden. They be like, oh man, you play Madden, you play dominoes. Yeah, man, I'm still. At the end of the day, I'm still a man
Yeah.
too. And so I'm glad you
Mhm.
hit on that because I tell people all the time. I said that's one thing I learned is that I learned not to play God. Now I give his message. I'm 100% sound in that. But
Sure is.
let God be God. Let him do what he gonna do. Let me ask you this, bro. 'Cause that was a good answer, bro. How you said that, man. And then you write about these kids about they have to maneuver and navigate in this world because I'm gonna say this: when we was coming up, stuff that we know now, didn't nobody tell us. So when I was 18, my mama said get out the house. And
Mm.
you just diving head first with no
Yeah. Wow.
parachute,
Yeah, it's true.
Look at no hang glider. You just busting the bricks. Boom, boom, boom. You don't know nothing. You go around the corner, these boys say you want to get on, let's all get on. And that's just how it was.
Yeah.
So but let me ask you this, man. Where do you see gospel rap going? We in 2021 now. We barely in 2021, but where do you see it going? I guess the next year, 2, 5 years. Where you see it going? Because a lot of it, to me, a lot of it is changing. A lot of people are wrestling with the messaging. A lot of people are wrestling with what to even call it. Some people like, I'm a rapper, this a Christian. I'm a Christian, but I ain't a rapper. All this other stuff. So where you see it going, bro?
It's crazy. I don't know where it's going all over the place.
Right. You right. Go to answer.
You know,
Right.
I think you're right though. It's so many different layers to it. A lot of people are losing the message.
Right.
And it's funny because the people that had a lot of support in the beginning, they now like, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I don't believe in the resurrection. Like
Right.
a lot of man, they don't even believe the message no more.
Right. You sure right, bro. Talk about it.
They don't believe the message no more. They got a platform now, and it's like they are just kind of on the scenes and behind the scenes directing the whole thing.
Right.
I saw a post on Facebook recently about a particular artist, and this pastor was like, tell so and so, that Christ is who he is. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, he's the Hebrew Israelite now, and so I don't know where it's going, but I would just hope in the end, whoever keep being theological in their messages and who is more detailed and really speaking out to the hurt and broken from their own personal experience, or just going Kurt Franklin on them, as far as Kurt Franklin, he's
Right.
today's a new day, smile, all of that. Whatever side you stand on, I do hear Christ in both of it, but I ultimately hope you're just making the impact that God has called you to make, and that you're just walking in your calling, and not being progressive. I think a lot of people think that Christian rap has been progressive, or we're progressive in thought or liberal. And some people are, right, but I really just hope they're just, they're able to speak and exist in different worlds, because to me that's what it was. So I just hope they're able to function and exist in different worlds while making the same or a similar impact. Maybe a longer or different process, but I hope that the same impact is made regardless of where it's going.
Right. Good answer, bro. Let me ask you this, bro. What's next for you, man? We need to find out what's next for you, man. Mixtapes. What you got? Got some EPs.
So actually, I got an album that's ready.
Right.
Shout out to that album, man. The album is called "I Am Not Abandoned."
Right.
It's finished up. It's crazy. I've been looking for people to do the to do different things to artwork.
Right.
Some of it has just been some of the files, the producer lost files.
I know. I know, bro. Right.
And then some of it is absolutely me. Wrestling through marriage, through life, working. Just got my CD. I just got a lot of things going on, and then just different things in the background, But you can see that being pushed out, hopefully within the next 3 weeks to a month,
Right.
But yeah, I am not abandoned. I did the showcase in 2020.
Right.
Made it to the finals. I believe I was about to go to the final round and then be traveling, and bloop. So just put that tape. The tape ready though. It's ready. But for the most part, I do what I always have done: work behind the scenes, impact, do live views behind the scenes, and that impact is going to always be there, whether the social media presence is there or not.
Right.
And so yeah. Anyway, I am not abandoned. Coming out soon, and it's an album. So.
We ready, bro. Let me ask you this one more thing, bro. You mentioned about being married, man. Look here, how's that? How marriage now shaping you now? I tell people all the time. For me, I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna ask you the question. I've been married for a while, and so marriage, I tell people, believe it or not, it shaped your lyrics and it shaped your view on how you view things. Just whatever lens you looking through, it shapes all that. So how have marriage shaped you as an artist, and as a man, man? Now you've been married now, bro.
It's funny. As an artist, I'm gonna continue to push out the same type of content.
Right.
But I do have a few, songs that I would like to push out that I hadn't talked to her about, or
right.
And some things I would like to talk about, in my music that I would rather get. I just want to get a perspective, at least get her a heads up on, the type of content that I would like to, the details of the content that I would like to use just for the world,
Right.
Because I don't always want to come from this I'm married perspective, you know what I mean? Right. I really like to give people, that uncomfortable rawness.
Right.
But as a man, I'm thankful, man, for this marriage, because I'm already a mess as it is now. And I just believe without her, I wouldn't be in a better place. It has, when they say that marriage will sanctify you, it's true.
That's right.
You might want to go slap somebody. Be like, I ain't gonna slap nobody because I gotta be here with her.
Right.
Or I'm not gonna do what I can do to ruin or waste my life, because it's now joined to another person. And so it really keeps you in a way, in a realistic way. I know I'm a Christian, I'm filled with the Holy Ghost. No, sometimes it's only the fact that I have to be accountable.
Right.
Woman,
Right.
And so that's the honesty. But it has grown me and shaped me as a man. And really, a lot of the things, I'm thankful that I had discipline prior to, because if I didn't, you just be in trouble, right?
Right.
But I think marriage really shapes you. It really makes you reflect on. It shows you who you are, what you truly believe, and what you're truly willing to fight for in life.
Right. Good answer, bro. You sure right. You married, bro. How long you been married, bro?
About 3 years. Yeah,
Okay,
three
two.
3 years and a couple of months. Yeah.
Hey, two more years, you'll be an official marriage counselor. Hey, I tell
Yeah.
everybody,
Hey,
uh,
hey, Rud. You used to say, "Learn how to argue." My grandfather told me,
I
"Yeah,
told,
learn how to
hey,
argue."
I told you, bro, and hey, I know. Hey, he told me that, man.
Yeah.
I tell everybody say, man, you know, you married, man, and tell me something about it. I always go back to what he told me. I don't never tell them like stuff that I, you know, oh, let me tell you how to do this and do that, and I'm from
Yeah.
me. I always go back to the 5 things my grandpa told me, cause I done experienced all of it. Everything he said, I'm talking about to the T. I experienced everything. So I always tell myself, well, let me tell you what my grandpa said. Because what he told me, the way he was telling me, he was like, here go some of the key things, but you have to decipher it all out yourself. And that's what I
Yeah.
did, you know. And you still learning every day. You still learning, and I'm the same way. You know, being married, it gives you a reason. It shows you a reason to do everything you said. It gives you that reason. And then when you add kids to it, that's a whole nother ball game. And so, yeah, man, I tell everybody, I said, man, look at rest in peace to Grandpa Nathaniel. But, you know, I tell everybody, when they ask me, I said, man, look, I'm tell you what he told me. I ain't finna tell you nothing. This what he said, and like you said, learn how to argue.
Yeah. That's
That
what
was
he
the key.
told me.
That's what it is, bro. Both finna jump off this thing, man. Any last words, man?
Yeah. Man, I really appreciate, the things you told me throughout this time. I'm
Right.
in my life, and then I'm looking forward to that project. Um, and man, I just look forward to really just re-engaging with you as well. From here, you've always been a solid, good, solid brother. I just appreciate this interview, man. Really, yeah.
That's what's up, man. It's one thing I try to do, man. Is I tell people all the time I've learned this, and I'm continuing to learn this, that when you let me speak about first the Rocktown and then Arkansas in general. Is that I seen a lot of cats come and go. I seen a lot of cats piss on the A state. I seen it. They leave. They go to Atlanta. They act like they ain't never lived in Arkansas a day in their life. You know, like now I'm like, no, joke. I know you. You stayed around the corner from me. You know, but for doing gospel rap in Arkansas, uh, we not known for entertainment. You know, we known for the hogs. You know, we known for some other things. We not known for entertainment. There's some cats around here can rap. You know
They
what I'm
can
saying?
go.
Hey, they got that go juice in them. They can get it. You know, but
Mhm.
for some reason, we keep getting skipped over. So the natural progression for the city has always been, well, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna get it on my own. And if you see it, you see it. And so one thing I learned about having that mentality and living in the rock town, especially with gospel rap, is I try to make sure while sitting at the table to make sure to have another seat at the table for gospel rappers and to highlight it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about, that's why I always, that's why I told you in the beginning, I said, I want the A State, all the Arkansas artists, I want them on early and often, because I'm one of them dudes. I get it, I understand it. Been there, done that. I'm one of them cats where, my door is open. And I done embraced every artist in this state. And if they say I haven't, it's a lie. I'm like, they lying, and I say get out the way and watch the lightning bolt come through the ceiling on they tail.
Yeah, you
And
tried to
so,
sign me early on. I remember that.
right,
You were ready.
right. You see what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
we was still trying to figure out then. Cause I remember when you walked in the barber shop and shot the CD to me. And we was like, I was like, man, I wanna sign these boys, but when you looking at the business side and the finances side, it's like gospel rap don't have a lot of money flying through it. And a lot of people like, well, I just come, I had cats tell me, well, I just come on the road with you, or I just put me in the show. The most I could do is say, okay, you can come and get on this show, but I can't let you get on the road with me, because all that stuff costs. You know, and then I have to incur all the costs. And that's what the cats don't understand. They be like, well, I just want to come. I said, well, we going to actually stay at a hotel that's paid for. We got to do this, do that. All this stuff costs money. And so if I'm paying for everything and nothing come back in, it's like it's a waste. And a lot of cats didn't understand it. And so I knew then a lot of cats didn't understand the business side of gospel rap. I said, yeah, we can all rap. Hey, give me the beat right now. I can get in there and put that pen on it, and it's ready. I said, but when you're talking about dollars and you're talking about money, because a lot of gospel rappers, they scared to talk about the money. I'm like, no, we have to talk about the money, because if you sell a merchandise, you're making money. If you go to a show and let's say this church got 3,000 people in there and they raised $10,000, $15,000 of offering money, they made money. I said, so it's a business. Everything, a church is a business. Everything is a business. And so a lot of cats stop hollering at me, because oh, you don't want to sign me, you don't want. I said, no, it ain't that. It's just, it ain't a lot of money flying in gospel rap like that. Now if we was out here in the streets talking about everything, how to kill everybody, how to put the dope together, how to bag it up, package it up, put the duct tape on it, we paid. Joker, I can go get everybody on the team, an ice chain, Joker, and a custom-made hog jersey. But I said that ain't gospel rap. I said when I started digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and I was like, I would love to sign to everybody. I can't. But, I'm still to this day, just working on still how to monetize gospel rap. And I think that's what they say, the taboo thing not to talk about in gospel rap, the money. I do it for free. I said, you crazy. I used to think that stuff. I don't think that stuff no more. I said, we got to monetize this thing because everybody getting paid around us but us. I said, so we the one looking like the suckers. I said, so I'm not in the sucker business. I tell people all the time, we have to learn, even with this podcast, we still learning it, and it's new. Even though we almost 30 shows in, it's new. But I know for me personally, I said, I got to get the Arkansas, I got to get the A-State artists on here. And it's not for flex, it's just because I know what y'all doing. We may not chop it up all the time, we may not see each other, but bro, social media helped me to see what everybody doing. Because we all knows it. And we all look, I tell people, it's two type of noses. It's a good nose and it's a bad nose. Yeah. I said, but if you put some on social media, everybody looking. I said, so I see what's happening. I know who moving around the state and getting. That's what I was actually about. I said, man, Ante, an activist. I said, that's cool. So I'm on your page, I'm looking. I said, okay, bro, getting down. And I tell people, you got some people like Ante on the front line, a joker like me on in the background talking to folks. Hey, man, what can we do? What can we, whatever. But, bro, that's what I was saying, man, is that it ain't nothing but one thing I try to do with what we're doing, and whoever looking at this, is that we featuring cats like yourself because gospel rap need media. We need media. We need these things. We need some to they can help highlight what you doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we here for, bro. And I said all that to say this, man. Bro, anytime, look at, man, whenever you drop that look, I don't even know what to call these things no more. Album, EPs. Back then it was just, hey, Joker, when you dropping that album, when you dropping that CD, now Joker's like, oh man, I'm dropping a song Friday. I'm dropping a 3-song EP. I'm like, say, man, what we call these things now, man? Just EPs, one song, go to my download list. I'm like, and then I say album, Joker like, oh man, you sounding old. I said, no, man, Joker just 5 years ago was saying that now. But hey, bro, I'm gonna say this before we get off tonight. Whenever you drop, bro, shoot it our way. Cause I'm gonna tell you what we're doing. For folks who've been watching, we are working on a radio piece to the podcast. Where we're trying to have a radio show running on side of the podcast. We in the works of doing that now. So whenever you drop, bro, shoot it my way, and it's getting played just like that. Like they say, straight like that. So. Bro, I ain't got nothing else to say, man. We glad you jumped on this thing, man.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, we're gonna jump off this thing, bro.
All right, love.
And that was Ante, everybody. Listen, that was another good podcast, man. Let me tell y'all something. We still building. We still growing. We still trying to figure this thing out. And one thing about me, if you've been following the podcast, you know we just building this out. You know what I'm saying? We trying to build a home for everything CHH, everything gospel rap. And this is going to be one of the homes of it. You know, and I keep talking it. Folks are like, manifesting. Now, I've been manifesting this thing. I've been knowing about manifesting. But we're building now. You can manifest all day. You got to start building. And so we're building this this podcast to be a winner in the gospel rap space, in the CHH space, for artists to come and just chop it up with us, for the DJs, for the promoters, and everybody that make gospel rap rock and roll on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. So listen, if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoy what we're doing, if you like what we're doing, man, we ask you to be a partner of the show. Donate. Just look at the bottom. You see everything moving at the bottom of the screen. Cash App, VENMO, PayPal. Donate whatever amount. Any amount you donate, it helps us to keep this podcast going, help us keep all the lights on, keep this microphone on. And so if you want to help be a part of the digital team, just let us know. Email us, and we can send you some information about what can you do to help us grow this platform. Tomorrow night, we got another great interview tomorrow night. So we're going to see y'all again on Friday night. Remember, come every week, every Thursday, every Friday, 6 p.m. Central Time. We broadcasting live from the Dirty. And we're going to be back with another podcast tomorrow night, another live podcast. This is The Refill. I'm your host, Ron Daniel. And we're going to get off this thing. Going to give y'all that double chunk. Boom, boom.